Hi, my name is Jeremy Indika, and I'm going to do a video in response to a recent social media post that I put up. It was talking about how or what my abuser would have been like when he was a toddler. Because we know toddlers to be innocent, playful, fun, excited human beings. We don't consider them to be nasty or evil. And this thought came into my head about the paedophile that abused me and what he would have been like as a toddler. Surely he would have been like all the other toddlers that we know, uh, and would have had the same nature as the other toddlers that we know. The young, innocent, playful, exciting, fun human beings that they are. So it led me to start thinking, well, when did this evil come about in his head? Or what led him to be this person sexually abusing children? So I wrote this post. I selected a picture that I thought represented the real essence of being a toddler. And I found that on a royalty-free website. So thank you to all the people running those royalty-free websites and allowing people like me to use their photography. Thank you. So I found the picture that I thought really represented that innocence and playful attributes that all toddlers have. And I think the picture that was chosen really nailed it well. So I was hoping that you would come across that picture on your social media, you'd see it, and it would give you good feelings. Because when we see toddlers like that, we do think, don't we? We're like, so nice, bundles of joy. And then I wrote the caption. So let me just read out the caption for you. The caption is, the paedophile who abused me was once this age, a young, innocent, playful toddler. Where did it all go wrong? Was this evil in his brain from birth, waiting until he was an adult to become active? Or did something in his life make him this way? So first of all, before we actually open the discussion for those questions, what I found really interesting actually was what I was hoping to happen was there would be a lot of interaction with this post. I was hoping that lots of people would be commenting and maybe there would be a discussion created in the comments section. But quite interestingly, this post was actually one of the posts that had a lesser interaction than others in the comments and the likes. And I was trying to think about why that would be. It's quite possible that it just wasn't a post of any quality that people wanted to interact with. I accept that. But I am going to say that it could be more than that. Maybe the questions that we're asking are actually very uncomfortable. And I think maybe that discomfort comes from the fact that if we think about paedophiles when they were toddlers, that young, innocent, playful human being that they are at that age, then that means that the paedophiles were once kind, young, playful human beings. And I think there is a problem in our brain, in our psyche, in our brain there, in our thought patterns there, because we don't want to associate any good with a paedophile. Any good with a paedophile. So maybe there was a problem there because there's a kind of conflict of interest. Maybe I haven't articulated that. Maybe that's not the right phrase. And actually, maybe the questions that I've put in this post are difficult and actually people just we just don't know why a paedophile has come to do these things. So somebody, I'm very thankful to one person that commented in the comment section, because they actually sparked this idea to do this video, because they tagged me in the comment and they asked me, well, what was my opinion? And that's the main reason why I decided to make this video, to kind of give my opinion, but also just try to think about it as we go as well, and see whether we can get somewhere with it. So again, I'll read the start of the caption. The paedophile who abused me was once this age, a young, innocent, playful toddler, referring to the picture. Where did it all go wrong? Was this evil in his brain from birth, waiting until he was an adult to become active? Now, this is difficult to think about. It's very uncomfortable to think about, I would say, because I don't think, it's very hard to think that children are born with this inside of them. That's a very hard thing to get your head around. I don't know if there's been any research on this. I don't know if there are any statistics that would help this discussion. I haven't done any research like that, and I'm not from an academic background. So just from my perspective, it feels very difficult to think that human beings are born with this evil inside of them, in their brain. Maybe it's not wired the right way in an area of it, or there's a misfiring, or there's a connection that's weak that's going to cause this. And is it waiting until they're an adult to become active? Is there something that switches it on when they become an adult to then start moving towards sexually abusing children? That's tough. I can also imagine that it's very tough for any parents who have toddlers or babies to accept that as an answer, or to accept that could be a possibility. I think that's very difficult. It's difficult for all of us. So the next part of the post that I ask, or did something in his life make him this way? Now, I've often heard people say, when there's a discussion about paedophilia or paedophiles, I've often heard people say, well, that probably happened to him when he was a young child, or she was a young child. And there is a issue that I have with that thought process being thrown around too often. Because actually what we're saying, if we're going to just label every convicted paedophile and say, but he probably happened to him when he was younger, then what are we saying about survivors of child sexual abuse? Are we saying that they're all going to grow to repeat the behaviour that happened to them? They're all going to grow to be paedophiles? That's incorrect. That's not fair. And we need to address that so that it doesn't become an instant response from more people. Because it's not the case. It's not the case that everybody that's abused goes to repeat the behaviour. It's so crazy, isn't it, that somebody would repeat the thing that devastated their childhood. I don't think anybody who has suffered sexual abuse as a minor would say that it wasn't one of the most devastating things that ever happened to them. So it's so unusual, isn't it, that people are growing into adults and repeating what caused them huge suffering in their life to other people. there must be something in the brain that gives them a kick out of that in some way. And it's not just when it starts to become complex for me when I'm thinking about it, because it's not just like surface level, if you like. It's not just like, oh, they just do the act for whatever reason. Maybe we'd say that they do the act because it's like a release for them, or getting one back on, or I don't know. I just don't know. But it's not just surface level physical action of them abusing a child because they were abused themselves. Because there's something actually exciting them about it. Like, the reason why I say that is because the paedophile, the man that did this to me, he was fully aroused during the abuse. Like, he was fully erect. He was really into it. It was like, I said in one of my videos before, it was like he was out of control. Like, he just couldn't get enough. It's like he's an animal. It's like there's something deep for paedophiles who are doing this, that have had it done to them before, that's really getting them going. It's very complex, and maybe I've diverted a little bit from the main topic, so I apologize for that. But I just do think that's very, very interesting that somebody would repeat what happened to them that caused them such devastation to someone else and get off on it. Yeah. So if we're saying that a large amount of paedophiles who are doing this had this done to them before, we shouldn't say it as if it's a okay excuse. It still doesn't make it okay. It poses the question of, well, how are we going to get them to not act on this desire to do this? Now, the comments on this post, as I said at the start, were not as much as I was hoping that they would be. There was small conversations here and there, a little bit on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook. And I would say that there was no majority vote. Some people were saying it could be something in the brain. Some people were saying that they could be repeating behaviour. So I think it was all a bit 50-50, but also there were a few comments saying that, like, this is just so tough to think about. It's really so difficult. But it's definitely something that it's definitely interesting, I would say. It's definitely an interesting thought. It's an uncomfortable topic. It's an uncomfortable area, because I think it starts to promote, well, what are we actually going to do with people who are this way inclined? What are we actually going to do with the people who are doing it? And how are we going to get to the bottom of why they're doing it? Will we one day live in a world where we can research this a bit deeper? Will we one day live in a world where paedophiles who have these urges, that have never acted on these urges, come forward and explain why they feel this way, explain where they think it comes from? Maybe they have all the answers. Maybe actually it's the paedophiles that have the answers, because they can tell us, do they think this was in their brain from birth and it was activated as an adult, or did something in their life make them that way? It's all tough discussions, but I'm happy that we're having them. I think it's important that we have them, and I'm got more social media posts coming up in with this kind of approach where I'm asking questions, I'm trying to get us all thinking a bit deeper about this topic, because it's a very important topic and it's urgent, it's an emergency, and it's affecting so many millions of people. I'll put a link to the social media post that we've been discussing in the description. And I think it will be cool to make more of these style videos. Let me know what you think. Any feedback, like I'm really happy to receive feedback on how I can improve this interaction, and what you'd like to see, and any questions that you have. Let's just get this discussion going, right? Let's just get this thing moving. Okay, thank you for listening, and that will do us. I think that will do us.